Welcome out, everybody. Welcome out, everybody. This is the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media. In case you didn't know, on this snowy day in the ATL, we are here. It might be snowing everywhere else, but hey, we right here right now. And it's not just me. Let me introduce the crew to you. This is how we do. Geechee, y'all. Amber. And that's all, y'all. What's good?
What it do? I like how you put the bird on my name,
It's cold, bird.
Because it's definitely 6 inches of snow outside right now and still snowing. Like, I don't live in Memphis, Tennessee. It's insane.
It's crazy. We got like a couple inches over here.
I ain't feeling
They said we were going to get 4 to 6 inches. It's been snowing since 2 a.m. It's very much giving 10.
Shit, they can snow all they want. I'm be right inside, chillaxing.
Very much inside.
Well, not chillaxing, getting some things happening. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing this new year?
I'm good. I wish you had told me about the break before I took my laptop to Africa. I was so prepared, so ready to go.
Oh, word. How was Africa?
It was amazing. Contrary to popular belief, I did not leave with 2 husbands.
Oh, man.
It's okay. I did leave with a new wardrobe.
Where did you go? Ghana?
Yeah, I went to Ghana for that in December.
That's why. See, that's where all the black capitalists go.
That's where I'm going to get my 2.
That's actually insane because let me tell you about how we got scammed going on this trip.
Ghana, I'm not surprised.
I thought it was Nigeria did that. Go ahead.
No, so we scheduled like I got like a travel package with this company. And 2 days before the trip, the girl sent an email and was like, there's a monkeypox scare, and sent us an article and was like, I think I'm going to cancel. And we have a policy about this. So if I cancel it, you just get your money back. And I was like, ain't no monkeypox. My mom is going on the trip with me. My mom is a microbiologist. She's a scientist. So she calls the lady. She was like, hey, there was only 1 case in Ghana, not even in Accra, in the last 6 months. There's no reason to cancel. So then I was like, this is looking sketchy. So she cancels the trip 2 days beforehand. The tickets, my flight's non-refundable. So we got to go. I was like, oh, well, we're going to go. And then the girl who helped orchestrate the trip for us from Carefree Black Girl was like, no, I'm going to call her and fix this because this is insane. So she called her and cussed her out. And the girl was like, okay, I can manage the trip from here. You're fine. Everything will be fine. I'm going to pay for everything. You don't have to worry about a refund. But there were also 10 other people coming with us from a different travel group from this guy, Kamoy Martin, on Instagram, who helps organize trips. So he puts everybody on a Zoom call. He's like, hey, you can just pay me the money and I will orchestrate everything. We'll be fine. And the people were like, no, we're not doing that. And they kept asking him over and over again, how much does each thing cost? And he wouldn't tell them. Come to find out, I get there 2 days into the trip. The lady texted me, was like, hey, there's a balance on your hotel. I'm going to send you the remaining balance for it. Even though she told us everything was paid for. She sent me $1,500. Like the entire hotel had not been paid for. I was like, whoa, you're a scammer. So we had come to the conclusion in the travel group that she was robbing Peter to pay Paul. So she didn't have all the money for everything. So she canceled and then was giving people money individually as it came in because no one till this day has gotten their refunds at all. So then we're trying to figure out why the Kamoy guy isn't helping the other people in the group who didn't book with us where everything was already paid for. So I was like, hey, how much did you pay? Your payment plans. This girl said she paid $700, 6 payments of $700. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense because my payments were $260.
Wait, who's the dude now?
His name is Kamoy Martin. He's on Instagram. He posts all these little luxurious trips. Whole time he's a scammer. So when we get on the trip, the guy does not communicate with them at all. Never shows up to any of the outings. We run into him at the Cape Coast Castle looking at the slave dungeons. I said, now I would fight him, but we are around the ancestors. I can't do that. So they come in, talk to him hey, what's going on with our refund? We haven't got our money back. He's like, oh, you are going to get your money back. Don't you worry. my friend Quana, who organized a trip with our Carefree Black Girl group, asked the lady, like, hey, why aren't they getting their refunds? And the lady from the company said, well, Kamoy had a different contract completely. And he had put in fees for himself in every single excursion they were doing. So he was getting paid from each person who went on the trip. But he would not tell them that. And they asked him multiple times, hey, what's your fee? What are you getting paid? And he wouldn't say anything. So your payments were $700 something 6 times. He was making like 100 off of each like excursion and everything, but would refuse to tell them. So now they're like constantly hitting him up, trying to get him to get their refund, because the lady said the reason why they haven't gotten their refunds because he hasn't given her the money back that he got from the people signing up. So she don't have the money to pay them.
Is this dude?
Yep, that's him. And he was at the Cape Coast Castle with a whole film crew, ignoring
the Bahamas. Number 2, Mexico. Number 3, Turks and Caicos. Number 4, Aruba.
Yeah, he looked like a scammer.
He definitely does. And so I was like, he just need a refund. Like, I just need y'all to he just needs to send the money back. Like, just give them their money back. Like, we've gone on the trip. The trip has happened. It was life-changing, by the way.
I was about to say, can we get to the positive of this? Because your stories is like...
But why does it always have to be a positive, though? Does it have to be a positive?
It actually was very positive.
Thank you. It's got to be a positive.
It don't always have to be a positive.
It was very
life-changing
to me.
Well, continue with your positive part of the story, Amber, please.
It was definitely life-changing.
And scale it back a little bit. Go ahead.
I feel like the places we went to were really cool. I like rode ATVs in the African safari, and I very much see the inspiration for the Lion King, because we were like driving and we'll come up to these big openings, and it literally looked like the cliffs in Lion King, like all the trees and stuff. We saw like actual animals. We talked to this guy from the Forestry Commission who was like explaining the animals that are like native to the area. And he also said that zebras are black with white stripes. And he doesn't care what people have told us. I was like, they definitely tell us in school that zebras are white with black stripes. He was like, no, they're black. Like their actual coat is black, and the white comes in over time, like as they get older. And I was like, that's so interesting. And I saw an ostrich. It tried to attack us. That was cool though. I understand. On their land. I held a snake. That was really cool. I went to the Cape Coast Castle. The slave dungeon thing was a lot. I didn't go like into this. I was like, y'all doing a lot.
Yeah.
But I did like walk around the castle. We went to the site of the slave market where the last bath was, and like the bath of return happened. And I like bathed in the water. That was really cool.
Food was good.
Yeah. The food was amazing. The only thing I did not like is that I was constantly hungry, like every 2-3 hours, because the food is so fresh. Literally, it's just like you just like consistently hungry. And I was eating like fish and jollof and stuff, but I was just like hungry every 3-4 hours. It was like insane, but it was very good. It was very cheap. Like I was DoorDashing there, and like my whole meal with the delivery fee was $6.
Oh wow! It was like eating Chinese food every hour, huh? Just hungry right after you ate.
I was eating fish and chicken and stuff, and lots of jollof. But I will say, I ordered some barbecue chicken, in my head, when I hear barbecue chicken, I'm thinking like, barbecue chicken on a grill. They put barbecue sauce on it. No, they just mean that the chicken was on a barbecue grill. That's it. Wow. There's no sauce, and it's extremely spicy. Don't be judging me for DoorDash. And they got DoorDash.
No, they wasn't judging. They was just asking. They got DoorDash.
They definitely got DoorDash. It's called Boat Food. They also have Uber Eats. Uber's really big there. I didn't use
Ghana. Ghana is the backyard of the U.S. right now. Black U.S.
It very much is. I didn't use any of the like Uber Eats stuff because I just don't want to. I want to use the local thing there. And the Boat Food app that's local there, I felt like they had more local options because I was like getting regular like stew and like fish or chicken. Yeah, see, Monty understands me. You have to eat a lot. And I feel like I was drinking about 200 ounces of water every day, and I was out all night. Like we was coming back at 3 and 4 in the morning. It was great. The city never sleeps. I was people watching a lot. African men were very aggressive. Somebody followed me home twice. I had to. It was a lot, but it was fun.
Well, beautiful trip. Beautiful trip.
Both of y'all keep saying African, the whole continent. All the men.
I mean, I think one of them was Nigerian, one of them was Ghanaian, one of them was from Cameroon. They all weren't from Ghana.
Oh, but damn. Well, Ghana pulls in the aggressive men.
So, Geechee, how was your New Year's and all that? Oh, you was about to ask a question?
Yeah, I was. I actually had a basketball question for you and Jared. Amber, I don't know if you watch basketball.
I watch occasional basketball.
But if you had to give me your top 2 or 3 NBA players who wasn't well known, the reason why I'm asking this is because I don't know if you remember Derek Harper. Remember Derek Harper? He used to play
Harper, yeah, he played for the Bulls.
Well, he played for the Mavericks and then
New York, I think.
And New York. But I watched a highlight of him the other day, and I'm like, yo, there was a bunch of players who was really nice, but they didn't get they never got their shine, I guess. Yeah, but do you have any players like that?
Not off top. I could come back and think about it though.
Yeah. No,
I don't have none. The only ones I know are the ones that are well known that I saw on Instagram.
The basketball players you saw on Instagram?
I mean, that's where I usually see stuff, like Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa.
Oh, you talking about, yeah.
Yeah, that's Mufasa. I see everything on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, so these are some of my people. Nick Van Exel, definitely Derek Harper. Not Ron Harper, but Derek Harper. I mean, John.
Are they related?
Nah. John Stockton he was kind of famous. Like he's
very famous.
He was like,
he's in a song.
John Stockton.
Some your body like John Stockton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
21 Savage or somebody like that. But yeah, so no parties, no nothing, no community organizations y'all ran up on. What's going on?
I mean, we did community work. We do community work all the time, but for New Year's I didn't do much. I went to my homeboy spot, and then I went back to the house and read. Somebody was laughing at that, but that's all I did.
Zinzabel, that was me. I spelled legends wrong. Yes, I did.
Well, I went to plenty of parties, and they were very fun, and I would definitely do it again. I'm probably going back in July. My friends and I are trying to go back in July, so.
What you do, Eric Doctor, other than spinning records?
That was it. I was spinning records. I was at a church, and I was at a church, and I played some line dance music for after they had their service, and 15 minutes played a little bit of music before they started their service, and came home.
It was like a watch night service.
I guess, yeah. I think it was one of those joints. Yeah, I didn't know. I just stay in the service. I just did that and went to my other spot and waited for them to finish their praising.
I go to a church that's like based off of Black liberation theology, so they do a watch night service in coordination with the time that Africa has, like when the clock strikes midnight in Africa or whatever. So I was literally at the club in Ghana and had put my earphones in to see what they was talking about on the watch night service, and I said, oh, okay, and I left. But it sounded great. From the 15 minutes I heard.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we got some more hosts coming. Maybe not. I guess we could go ahead and take our first break, and then we could get back into some news. I know you said a lot of stuff is going on in Mississippi, MIS.
In Memphis, not Mississippi. Memphis. Very much Memphis.
He said everything the same down there.
Oh, y'all niggas.
Alabama, Arkansas, all that shit.
I mean, you know what was funny? I was just looking at a map with my kids yesterday trying to figure out, what was the southern part of America. And it's amazing. It starts all the way up in Virginia. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Virginia.
They consider it the South, even though I don't consider it the South.
Do
you ever notice how when you look at a map, Africa looks smaller, but if you look at a globe, Africa is bigger? As a continent.
Psychological games they be playing,
Yeah, you can. Psychological. You can fit the whole United States in the Sahara.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, let's take our first break. We're going to come right back here with no other than the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Thank you all for tuning in. And please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com. Become a member over there. Get footage that's rare. And yes, you need to share like you care. Go ahead and donate also. Go to our page, blkliberationmedia.org. That's where you can donate while we are being demonetized forever over here on these YouTube streets. All right, let's talk about it. one of the legends I wanted to talk about, who was named word I spelled all wrong. Thank you, Zinzabel. I wanted to talk about Ricky Henderson. We just lost that brother. Pretty much Ricky Nelson Henley Henderson. What a name. Nelson Henley. I can hear his mom saying that right now. Nelson Henley, if you don't get in here. Nickname the Man of Steel. He's a basketball. He's a baseball player, left fielder. He played 25 seasons in the major leagues from 1979 to 2003. He started off with the Oakland Athletics, and he played for them like 4 other times. He played with a bunch of different teams. He's known as the baseball's greatest leadoff hitter, base runner, and he holds the record for stolen bases, runs, intentional walks, leadoff home runs. He's one of the greatest of all time. 10-time American League All-Star. He's done it all pretty much. So for the Oakland A's, he was a major dude out there. He played for the Oakland A's. He played for the New York Yankees. Came back to the A's. Then went to play for the Toronto Blue Jays, San Diego. He played for all these different teams. But he put in his work, and he wound up being a coach for the Mets, a hitting coach. And then he transitioned after a while from pneumonia. So big up to Ricky Henderson and his family, and continue to do your thing where you doing it. All right, with that said, let's get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show. All right.
This sounds like juicy fruit.
Juicy. Yes, that's for Keisha Cole. You gotta give, but you don't.
Yeah.
The
have you seen that video of Elder Barge's daughter Kendall and the track she sang before Keisha Cole got the songs? It's so interesting because his daughter Kendall is a really great singer and used to sing when she was younger, but doesn't really do it anymore. And now she's like a YouTube family type of girl. Her and her husband be making YouTube content, and I was like, but before that, she was a great singer.
Shit. There's a lot of them out there. So what up? So big up to Ricky Henderson and the whole family. I've stopped watching baseball a long time ago. I really never really watched it since the Mets and Mookie back in the day with Darryl Strawberry.
The Jonas Brothers concert at the Yankee Stadium, and I said, "Oh, y'all take baseball so serious."
I can't do it. I can't sit there for that long and watch a baseball game. Everybody say it's not about the game; it's about sitting around talking, seeing.
But I don't want to talk to nobody.
Especially people at their baseball games.
Yeah,
I think most sports are harder, especially if you played sports. It's harder to watch if you played it. Like football, kind of too. Like it's not really a fun game to watch. It's like real quick spurts that happen. But most of the plays are you just kind of like.
Yeah, I guess like you say, if you played it, because I played football, so I like watching the whole chess matches and them going back and forth with the coaching and stuff like that. So I get that, but yeah. I need to see fast-paced score.
And that was it.
You said what? For the
Beyonce football for the
Beyonce did a thing, yo. People be sweat.
I was like, this is crazy.
You riding on a horse singing, you gotta have some stamina right there.
Now I'm not buying no tickets to no tours or no merch because I ain't doing that much. She got enough money, but I definitely watched the Beyonce Bowl and she killed that shit.
I still ain't know what the hell that is. I ain't watching. I don't know nothing about it.
But I listened to her country album, so I feel like Geechee, if you didn't listen to the country album, you really didn't get it.
You might not get it, yeah.
But the country album is actually very, very good, and she really tied into a lot of the Houston culture around rodeos and all that stuff. It was very good. I mean, she does a great job of paying homage and stuff. She's just a billionaire, and I don't want to keep giving her my money. So
there's three successful Black country artists recently, I guess now.
Well, you got
Shabuzi, now Beyonce, and then what's the other person who?
Shabuzi very whitewashed too, though. Even though
Kingfish or something like no, is Kingfish country?
I don't know, but
Whatever
it
that-
was
I mean,
nice.
Tanner Adele,
I was
Brittany
about to say them
Spencer,
beautiful black women
Raina
she walked out
Roberts,
and did that Black Bird song with. Oh man,
Tierra Kennedy, all
Yeah.
four. I listened to all four of them, and I was listening before Beyonce put them on. They're all great artists, especially Tanner Adele. Her pen, fire. Tierra has a beautiful voice. Raina Roberts is very much she really has a good niche around the cowboy outlaw thing and the red hair. Like she's like consistently with that like that narrative in her music, and it's really good. And I've known Britney Spencer for a long time.
I think we allow white people to take the narrative that country music is theirs. It's more like a regional thing, especially when you talk about Texas. Just like you have Go-Go in D.C., you got Zydeco in New Orleans. I think they don't realize that a lot of the people in Texas grew up square dancing and listening to people sing over just guitars without a whole bunch of other stuff to it. So yeah.
But so country, so she has a whole country album.
She has a country album. So okay, so during the pandemic when she came out with the first like Act One, there's 3 albums. So when she first came out with that, I bought the little like $30 box with the CD and all this stuff. And in it, she explained that she recorded 3 full albums: Act One, Act Two, and Act Three, and they're all different genres. So the first one was like the house, the second was country. I think the third one's gonna be like rock or something like that. But they're all different genres and they're already recorded. So that's why she's just chilling right now, doing like random, promo or other stuff for it. But the albums are already there.
Yeah, big up to the queen.
Ooh, Shaka Khan.
She knows what she doing. Not
She knows what she doing.
That's Shaka Khan.
All right, well, let me get out of here. Let y'all get to it. Peace.
Geechee, I put a this Instagram video in the chat. Can you pull that one up?
Man, these lights are blue. The first one or the second one?
The second one.
Second link. So you know I ain't logged into Instagram, so.
Okay.
I know y'all a little new to the Remix Morning Show, so yeah.
We wasn't getting to news yet, though. We wasn't getting to the news yet. Thanks for the drop. Thanks for the drop anyway, bro.
Yeah, at this time you say now. Thank y'all for coming back. Like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah.
No.
Well, if y'all going to be on a Remix Morning Show, certain things you need to do.
No.
No? Are you saying no?
You know, Geechee is a rebel.
Well, Geechee can do his other show. This is a Remix Morning Show. Good morning.
Thank y'all for pulling back up to the Remix Morning Show. It's 7:23 a.m. Central, 8:23 Eastern. It's Amber, aka A's for Afro, on all socials. Geechee's here, but he don't want to play the rules, so we're gonna just ignore him for a second. Make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I know trying to get to 50,000 this year, which I think is very doable in the first quarter. So, y'all got it.
Shout out to the Sky Daddy Air Doctor. Anyway, so you had this.
Okay, so I'll give a brief lead in. So like for people who don't know what I do like in everyday work, I'm a policy organizer. So I mostly work on like writing laws, writing bills, whatever. And I've been working with our city council on ways to make our meetings more accessible. And on Tuesday, I got my first policy win of the year. So this video is explaining that. What's up, y'all? It's Amber, your favorite policy organizer, with some amazing news. So I've been working on an ordinance to make the city council meetings here in Memphis more accessible. And one of the key parts of that ordinance was to change the meeting times from 3:30 to 4 p.m. so that people could attend the meetings and either not miss a whole bunch of it or just be able to attend in general, because most folks don't get off of work until after 4 o'clock. So I've been lobbying different city council members to get support for it. And yesterday they voted to change the meeting time to 4 p.m. So I'm geeked up because, what a win. I will still be pushing for an ordinance to change some other things to make the... It's not self-promotion. I just wasn't going to explain all of that. So the video worked better. But yeah, so I got our city council meetings changed. And even with the 4 p.m. time, people can still get there at 4:30 or 5, and they still be in the beginning parts of the meetings and haven't done anything like substantial yet. And that's a huge win for our city, but also for local governments. I keep telling people that like you can get them to change things. Honestly, either just ask or do it yourself, like push for it yourself, and it can happen. And so that's why I want to talk about it, because that's been a huge barrier here in Memphis, and it's a barrier in Atlanta. Like I've gone to city council meetings in Atlanta. They're in the middle of the day too. They're not helpful for folks who actually do want to attend the meetings. And so I just wanted to point that out, that like there are some policy wins happening, like us getting that meeting time changed. It's been that meeting time since the 1800s, like since the city council existed. It was 3 p.m. and they got moved to 3:30, and now it's 4, which is way more equitable. And then I also have an ordinance coming up in the next week that will make the parking garage across from the city council free. So originally it was like discounted parking, but our city council was like, it's cool because we actually pay for that parking garage. So we're just going to make the parking free, which I think is another big win, because a lot of folks can't pay $20 to come down to the council meeting. And then also making it where when you have to give public comment, you don't have to say your address out loud. So currently, like you have to write it down on a comment card and then you have to say it out loud. But the charter doesn't require that you say it out loud. It only requires that you write it down. And a lot of people want to make public comments, but they don't want to give their address because they live stream the comments. And there's like these racist, radical Christian like news stations here who will like play our comments over and over again so people can hear our addresses. And folks were getting like hate mail, and it was a whole thing. So just trying to make it more accessible for people, and also inspire other people to know that they can try to push to make their city councils more accessible too, because we're getting close to budget season, which usually starts in like March or May here, and most other cities start around the same time too. And so this is a great time to kind of push for more accessibility so that you can really participate during budget seasons.
So as a policy organizer, like, are you connected to a particular party? Or like what's that? Like?
So I actually used to be the Young Democrats president here. My term just ended, and then so I didn't run for re-election because I didn't want to, and I also just feel like it wasn't something I wanted to do. But our city council is nonpartisan, so it doesn't matter. Most of our governments are. Our city council is. Our county commission is nonpartisan. Our school board is. Like, it doesn't matter. I was just talking to this Republican city council dude yesterday, who's the one who's going to sponsor the ordinance. Like, most of the time, if I just find someone who likes the thing that I'm talking about, it really doesn't matter because they're probably going to push it anyways. Even with this time change, they were like, we don't actually need a vote for this. We can just, as a council, agree to change it versus like pushing this down the road and it has to go through multiple votes before it's actually approved, which I appreciated because, you know, government is not that efficient and they take forever to do everything.
And so what was this other story here you had in there?
Okay, so yesterday, a senator here in Tennessee, he does not live in Memphis. He does not represent the Memphis area. He actually lives in East, which is like a suburb, like 40 minutes from here. But he presented a resolution for an ouster campaign against our DA because he said our DA is a liberal and all he does is support the restorative justice schemers like Official BLM Memphis and Decarcerate Memphis, and we got to get him out of here. And he held like a almost 2-hour long press conference about this, naming all these things that the DA has done when none of these are in the DA's power to do, and none of it has to do with him. He's mostly complaining about judges or the people who set bail and the way that they are setting bail, or the way that the judges either aren't remanding someone or aren't setting a bail high enough that he feels like it should be like higher. But the DA doesn't like watch that every single day. It's not the DA's job, for one. And it's kind of interesting because it really much feels like white on white crime to me. It's these two white men attacking each other. So the other day, the DA posted a video with an Eminem song in the background, talking about how he had to defend himself and fight for his life. It's really ghetto. But he laid out like these 9 reasons why he wants to oust the DA. And then the Speaker of the House here in Tennessee also talked about how he wants to impeach the DA. So if Brent Taylor was to push through this like resolution or whatever and gets the DA removed, then he could still run again for the DA position. But if the Speaker of the House, Speaker Sexton, impeaches him, he cannot run again, which is the only like main difference between the two people who are coming after him. And I think it's interesting because this is probably the 3rd or 5th article about this, and every single time the news talks about how the things he's accusing the DA of is not things that the DA does, or they haven't found any evidence for it. Like he'll accuse him of something, and the news will be like, "Hey, we looked for evidence of this. We can't find it anywhere." And he does that a lot. I think that Brent Taylor really just needs attention because he has a press conference every other day. And at this point, the news has really stopped covering them because he keeps calling multiple press conferences about stuff, but there's no actual news or anything sufficient in there. But I am very worried about what a DA ouster could look like because we're in a super majority here. So like they can do whatever they want. And that means that like our DA and other folks have to go up there and lobby them to not vote for this. And I don't think that would happen. I think that they will pass it.
So have you worked with any of those as a policy organizer?
I work with our DA a little bit. I mean, I can understand why Brent Taylor does not like him because he isn't super like tough on crime as they would say. And when he first got elected, there were a lot of cases like the Scorpion Unit cases that the special units handled, like they all got dismissed because they killed Tyree Nichols on camera, and now you can't trust any of the cases coming out of the Scorpion Unit. And that was a big blow for like people here who are like super, tough on crime or whatever. But like it was a win for us because I knew plenty of people who got pulled over by the Scorpion Unit who had court dates coming up and have been fighting cases for months and months because they pile all these charges on you and you have to literally fight them for months on end. So a lot of them got dismissed. And that was a thing that Brent Taylor talked about too, is that, he's being soft on crime, but you can't uphold a case that's tainted. But there were thousands of cases that got thrown out in our favor. I was like, all right, period. But he was pissed about it.
So there's a I was trying to look through some of these stories that Erica sent. And I don't know if do you have access to that?
I don't have access to that.
Okay.
While you look for that, I'm gonna just respond to something that TJ said. He said the fact that the unit still exists is crazy. The unit does not still exist. So the Scorpion Unit doesn't exist. The only things that exist are like boat patrol and like other like random units that aren't like walking police. And then we have the multi-agency gang unit, which I know Atlanta has that too. But the Scorpion Unit and some of the other special units don't exist anymore.
So you said about sports. You don't watch sports at all?
I do watch sports a little bit.
So this one is supposedly DraftKings, which I kind of looked into a little bit. They are owned by like Vanguard and BlackRock or whatever. But supposedly the users can now buy better odds for by paying subscriptions. So it's just like I guess any other subscription thing, but if you're subscribing, you have I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means
they probably give them like tips and stuff. They probably give them tips and stuff about like what to bet or what's a good bet. I mean, I really think we should talk about how all of these states all of a sudden are approving online gambling, like in these gas stations, online gambling in general, but they're definitely banning porn sites. They're like, we can approve gambling here. Online gambling works. You can put them in gas stations, all that stuff. But porn, that's bad. Gambling, not as bad. That's not as bad. They aren't both bad things. Shocker.
So it's gonna cost the members $20 a month. In return, they will receive what the company calls stepped up boosts for all parlays where the individual legs are -500 or narrow.
I love a good parlay.
But I've been seeing a whole lot of
I just like
commercials.
Good niggas say parlay.
What?
I just like hearing them say parlay. I don't know. It's just funny to me.
The only parlay I hear all the time is Desi Banks, who always call his homeboy parlay.
That's hilarious.
That's the only one I know.
Where are you seeing DraftKings commercials?
Everywhere on Kevin Hart and what's the big guy name who's I don't even know his name. He have should have been or could have been records. He's supposed to be a comedian. He be with Kai Cenat.
I know who you're talking about. The
got gold color hair.
Drewski.
Yeah. Drewski, yeah. So I've been seeing like Drewski and I mean everywhere. So
maybe I don't see the ads because I don't watch TV. So
no, I'm talking about social media. Like if you on social media, they'll pop up on Facebook or Instagram.
I don't see them on Instagram. I mean, I be on Instagram and TikTok, and I don't see them on there. I don't really be on Facebook. I use it for pictures here and there. I don't really like it anymore, especially after. Let's talk about what y'all friend Mark did with this switching to community notes bullshit.
Which Mark?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh. Community notes on Facebook?
Yeah, so he said that Meta will be no longer using fact checkers, and that they'll be using the community notes model like off of Twitter. And then they also will be moving their operations of like fact checkers and other folks from California to Texas, and we'll be setting up shop there.
Wait, the fact checkers are the people who say your post might be lying and take it down and censor it?
Yeah. Versus now using community notes. Now, I think community notes are funny, but I don't think that they should be replaced from using fact checkers.
Oh, they say, so it's Kai Cenat, Drewski, and Kevin Hart who has the DraftKings.
They all get money.
Yeah, they got some bread.
And Monty said it does actually like increase your chances like a lot.
Oh, she got it?
I don't think she got the subscription. She was just saying it does increase your chances though when you have the subscription.
But I guess I don't know how. If I guess unless the sports game is rigged too, right?
I mean, it's all rigged. Just like when people go to casinos, I'd be like, y'all know that they're only letting you in for a little bit to spend more money. Like this all is rigged. That's why I don't believe in casinos. I don't go to none of that stuff. I'll take $20 just for fun to go for a little good time. Because the ones in New Orleans are fun. Like they have live DJs in there and stuff. So I just like walking around getting free drinks. But I'm not gonna bet no money. But gambling is really, I think we should talk about more how like gambling has become this really big thing in the last few years that it was not, with the online gambling push, the solitaire online, but you can make money playing solitaire, the putting the gambling machines in the gas stations. Like I saw that in New Orleans. I know they do that there. Like I saw those game machines and stuff in New Orleans. That's not new. But like the fact that they have them in gas stations here and throughout Tennessee, it's just only going to create people with more gambling problems.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always like, I guess the scratch offs and all of the lotto has always been in certain communities, but
yeah,
having more access to trying to get money, late stage capitalism, everybody desperate. That wealth gap is supposed to be zero.
Those little payments add up. Like each little thing, as they keep going and going, and people get addicted. Like I see people in gas stations come in there with their paycheck from their job, get their check cash, and go to the little machines. And I was like,
I mean, essentially, it's a form of taxes, though, right? So, because the winnings come out of all the people paying, so it's like a raffle, right?
Is that how it works?
I mean, that's what I thought. I mean, I
don't play the lottery, so I never have cash on me to even buy a lottery ticket, and I always never been into it. I
feel like a city, by the time they don't get so many $2, $5 cards, like they already pay for the money and then some, and then they get the. I mean, at least I think.
That's true.
Maybe I should.
Isabel said that she gonna have to go to a casino. Yeah, you should go to one in New Orleans. I would say like every time I've gone, like on Fridays and Saturdays, they always have a live DJ, and it's really good.
I'm gonna look up how does lottos get the pot?
Because I don't understand that either. Like we have the lottery here for the Hope Scholarship, but I've never like looked into how they actually fund it.
I mean, I would assume that has to be all of the money that they rack up. The lotto prize is generated by ticket sales. Yeah, see? Yeah. So if you have somebody who the community buy $2 million worth of tickets, you can say it's a $1 million jackpot. So it's like a big ass raffle.
Zinzibel, it's a great thing to add to your itinerary. Also, there's a new casino downtown, like it's a white one. I forgot what it's called. Caesars. It's a new Caesars casino. It's very nice, and they always have like really cool live music in there and free stuff. Can you pull up TJ's comment about BlackRock and like where people are investing? Because I've been paying attention to that too.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a coincidence that at the same time that there is a huge rise in gambling, there's a huge rise in payday loan companies too. Like I went to school in Northwest Tennessee, so very small rural towns. They all have payday loan places there now, and they all have gambling in the gas stations, and they all of a sudden have these little crypto machines where you can like switch your money over to Bitcoin. And I'm like, this is a town with like 2,000 people. Like they're just doing this to make money, of course, but also it's only going to put them further in debt.
Yeah. So the when you look at the owners of what do you call this thing again?
DraftKings.
DraftKings. Damn. You look at the owners of DraftKings. Vanguard owns 8%. Well, Vanguard Index Fund and Vanguard is 8 apiece, so 16%. iShare, T. Rowe Price, BlackRock Funds, Vanguard World Funds, and Fidelity. So all of those people pretty much own the majority of
The shares.
Of the shares.
So, Rob put in the chat, are we criticizing casinos or promoting them? I just want to say, I'm promoting going places for free. I am not promoting gambling. I personally wouldn't do it. But I do think that since they have live DJs and they're giving out free drinks and stuff, I fully support going to enjoy that. But I wouldn't use the machines. I don't. I just be in there chilling.
Wait, he's pro casinos? Like what's happening?
He was asking, like, are you pro casinos or against them? And I'm saying I'm pro going places that are free. Like in New Orleans, you can walk around anywhere for free. Like the parties and stuff, you just walk in them. So I tell people, hey, you should walk in, have an experience, and leave. I'm not gonna gamble. I'm usually not gonna give anybody my money like that because gambling to me is a scam. Just like we talked about the lottery, like you're paying all this money into it, and then it doesn't go to the things they say it does. Ricky was pointing out how they're supposed to like be putting money towards infrastructure, education. Now in Tennessee, they don't. Ours is just for the education. Ours is just an education lottery that goes for the Hope Scholarship. But with that Hope Scholarship, they're not getting that much money. The Hope Scholarship is not a lot of money at all.
Yeah.
So we're putting all this money into that scholarship fund from buying lottery tickets, but I think that they could use way more on other things other than education. They could definitely use it for infrastructure, but they don't. And I know that places up north have definitely been saying that they're going to use it for their infrastructure, and they definitely don't. Like in Virginia, in Maryland, they don't.
I mean, but I guess even people who own casinos or they make their money off of gambling, investing is important. So even as they invest in the infrastructure, they're only going to build things that's going to make them more money. So infrastructure could just obviously be more corporate buildings and more stuff like that where they can get kicked back.
Zinzi made a comment too about going to Vegas. So I went to Vegas also and stayed at the MGM Grand Hotel for a conference. I didn't pick the hotel, but I didn't gamble either. I mean, I think that it's just, as a people watcher, I think it's fun to go to those places just to like people watch and like be around where the action is. A lot of the parties and stuff are going to be happening there, but you don't have to gamble. And I suggest that people don't at all. Don't gamble online. Don't gamble in the casinos. Don't use them gas station machines. None of it it's just going to become addicting once you win a few times, and none of it ends well.
Sound like workers are gambling too, aren't they?
I mean, I think we all gambling. Oh my God, Ricky, yeah. Can we talk about that though? Because one of my friends went to go see Bruno Mars at MGM during New Year's, and they said that they got signs of Bruno Mars's face up in all the casinos because he owes so much money. He can't gamble right now because he owes so much.
Oh, so much to who? Where the hell are you at? What'd he do? He
has a residency at MGM. One of my friends went to see it, and she said he was singing for his life because I said, please, you gotta pay them bills off. He owes so much money at different casinos in Vegas, like pretty much every one he owes money at, and they got like pictures of him up to not let him in.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I guess I really do be on the rock. Bruno Mars is
I only know because my friend went. So my friend went and she told me about it. That's the only reason why I know. Yeah, it's definitely like 40, 50 million, Rob.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to find a link.
I fully believe allegedly that Bruno Mars has a crack addiction, not cocaine. Very much crack, allegedly. You know, I ain't seen him snort a line, so I can't say nothing. But I fully believe there are some drugs that are driving.
Well, AI says no. Bruno Mars does not have a gambling debt with MGM.
They lying.
The MGM Resorts International has categorically denied reports that the singer owes them company millions.
Not MGM. I'm talking about the different casinos in Vegas.
Oh.
Like he owes money at multiple of them, allegedly.
Yeah.
But my friend said she definitely saw a picture of him on a desk at a few casinos she went to. So,
see y'all.
Allegedly.
See what y'all did? Y'all about to get us Striked again. Bruno Mars.
Allegedly. That's all I'm saying.
MGM has him under residency. Oh, contract. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has to do his residency there for like, I think 5 years. It's a long contract. So maybe he'll pay off his debts in that time. Allegedly.
So there's a something in here that I don't know if anybody saw Obama and Trump having their little which again I think you could, especially you being a policy organizer, I think you could argue that even though they do have different policies, they don't
have that. Their policies are not that different. So
yeah, I'm saying
somebody posted this on Threads.
Somebody can argue that it's different. What I'm saying is, but there is very similarity to it. So they wouldn't be enemies, as if like people saying they should be fighting like outside of a club, and it's like
they be playing golf together.
Yeah, like what exactly they're gonna be?
Somebody shared it on Threads, and I reposted it, and I said, war criminals of a feather flock together. We should not be shocked that they was kikiing, because I'm sure they be kikiing when they not in public too. All of them. That's why, just like Biden was, had him seated in the whatever that room, in the White House, they were having some meeting or whatever, and they was kikiing. I said, I don't know why y'all so shocked that he, isn't boxing with this man. They are buddies. They have the same stances on plenty of things.
Yeah, I also think that people forget how close Michelle Obama and Bush became over the years, hugging and all that.
I mean, I have noticed like after, and I do see that happen. Like a lot of times after people get out of being president, they do become a little bit more liberal. But Bush is still a bad guy. Like, yeah, he's changed his stance on a few things, but he was literally in office and fucked us over because No Child Left Behind left everybody behind. I said, you niggas can't read. Oh my gosh. It's so concerning. I'd be so worried. I'd be like, they should have left you behind. It's really okay to get left behind if you need to. Like, I really just think that we need to remove that stigma, because one of my cousins got left behind and he very smart now. He needed an extra year. He wasn't grasping the content. I mean, it happens.
You say he
wasn't graduated college on time. He thriving in life. It's not the worst thing that ever happened to you. Mm-hmm. Oh, very true. Somebody said prosecutors and defense attorneys hang out as well. We are the ones who suffer over the theatrics. Very true. I'll give a great story. So during the federal trial for Tyre Nichols, there was FBI agents everywhere. The prosecutors, defense attorneys, all of them were kikiing in the hallways multiple times. Because I remember an FBI agent came up to me. He was like, hey, I've been working with Tyre's family. I want to introduce myself. And I just looked at him. And he was like trying to shake my hand. I was like, I don't know you. And he left. Because he's so used to kikiing with the family, and the prosecutors and them are, all talking to the family too. And I was like, y'all might trust this system, but I don't. I don't believe in any of this. I literally just came to support you because they're literally showing your son being murdered on video in 4K, slowed down per second. And you needed somebody to sit there with you, but I don't believe in none of this shit.
Yeah.
And that's it. But they definitely be buddy. They were telling me this one girl who's a prosecutor for the state side, because she was there taking notes for their case and was talking about how, oh yeah, we're gonna, meet with them later. We go get lunch, da da da. And I was like, that's not a good look.
So this is dope. Ricky was saying, because if he is that dangerous, an existential threat, what does it mean that the folks were depending on to defeat them are passively friendly with them? So a couple things. I was looking at some reports back in the days of some Gullah people on Edisto Island writing back after the general came down and took the land back from the white people and be like, hey, we're gonna give the land back to these white people. We're gonna give y'all a bank. Y'all can save some money and then maybe buy it. But some ancestors from Edisto Island wrote a letter to the president. It was like, yo, how the hell are you going to take the land back from your friends and give it to your enemies? And the government was like, well, they're not our enemies because, they pretty much, we forgive them. And it would be bad to not forgive them as they put them back into office. So it's literally it's always been this idea that even though they have different methodologies, they all kind of want to achieve the same thing, and they might fight.
Definitely do.
They might scuffle every now and then, but
just like, I mean, when we were at like multiple museums and stuff we went to in Ghana, like most of the stuff I knew about, but like people who were on the trip with us didn't know. And they were talking about at the Kwame Nkrumah Museum about how, you know, he was removed as president because it was a CIA-backed coup, even though they wasn't messing with Ghana at first. You know, they're all about colonizing the country and helping that happen. And they were like, actually, let's just get this guy removed and have a CIA-backed coup to remove him. And that happened multiple times in multiple countries. And so many of them were so shocked. And I was like, why are you so shocked? The world is anti-Black, for one. Two, you got this man coming in with a very revolutionary vision and a way to help Africa and Ghana learn to self-sustain itself, to not rely on other people. They don't want that.
Listen, I want to share this. So our study group is studying August Nimp's The Ballot, The Streets Are Both. And he just wrote this recent article where I think there's a couple good quotes up in here. But I mean, the article is fairly good. But it starts out that Donald Trump's victory on November the 5th, 2024 is the price the U.S. working class pays for not having its own political party. Nevertheless, it came with two silver linings, potentially. A drowning person, Marx once wrote, will grab hold of a twig in the hope that it will save them. Therein, why millions of workers voted again for Donald Trump. But there's a line when I think he was saying how the Democratic Party has convinced people that they are the party for the workers, but they never was. And I think there's maybe the line that for Bernie Sanders to claim that the Democrat Party lost was due to its having abandoned the working class is to assume that it actually once represented the interests of that class. To the contrary, nothing in the history of the party of the slave owners and their descendants, beginning for sure with the Civil War, would have predicted that the Democrats would be seen as and able to pretend to be the party of the working class. And I think somebody, when I posted that on Twitter, I think somebody was kind of feeling the type of way that that he connected the Democrat Party to the former slave owners, which people seem to have a tizzy about. But
it's true.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think they have shown or engaged in history where you would want to forget that they have a connection to that. If anything, there's something that you should remember because they have a way of, reshaping their identity.
I mean, and they talked about that. So when we were at the Cape Coast Castle, the tour guide talked about that, about how, people really only assumed that it was British and other folks in the U.S. that were like leading slavery, but it didn't start with them. It started with the Portuguese, the Danish. Like there were all these other people who were like participating in slavery who started participating first, but we don't learn about them, and so we just assume that it's only these people to blame. When actually, it's a lot of people. A lot of folks are liable. And Ricky said something in the chat about that she didn't think he was removed because of anti-Blackness. I'm not saying he was removed because of anti-Blackness. I'm saying I feel like that his vision for what he wanted for Ghana, like making sure that folks felt like they could depend on each other as a community. They don't need, outside colonizers coming in to help them, was a big part of it. And I saw that in like the tours we took, like where it showed us all the infrastructure that developed while he was president, all the things that he did to make Ghana self-sustaining, to no longer, depend on other folks, was a huge threat.
So I put the link. Somebody asked about that link, but put that in the chat for the August Nimp's article.
I do think that the Democratic Party to me works double time to try to make it seem like, they are the party of the working class people, even the way that they align themselves with labor unions, even though the labor unions was like, actually, we're not endorsing that lady. And we're really not supporting a lot of y'all Democrats that are running, which I thought was very interesting. But I feel like they work double time to make that happen. Like, even when we have like Young Dem stuff that happens here, or even like the national stuff, they always have all these labor unions there. And I was like, it feels like very forced because a lot of them don't have my same politics, or a lot of other Black people's politics. Like they're very different. And so I think it's, to me, feels very forced and like purposeful to like make it seem like this is what's happening when realistically they aren't that democratic or that liberal either.
So did Air Doctor say he left or he?
Yeah, he said you got to end the show whenever we finish talking because he got to go do something.
He's supposed to give us a whole nother little spin, but he didn't.
Mm-mm.
But nah. So what else? You have any other stories you want to get to?
Other than the what is it called? The ouster for the school board. So there has been some progress with that, and I want to share an article about that because our state government is threatening to take over our school board if we remove the superintendent.
Oh.
But I gotta find, let me see. I pulled the article up, I gotta find it one more time. Okay, here it is.
You sent it?
1 second. Okay, just did.
All right.
So as a backup, while he's pulling that up, our superintendent here was facing like an ouster like 2 weeks ago where this faction of our school board wanted to remove her. But they produced this very like weak resolution. Like the reasons they produced were very weak and it didn't work. The community wasn't feeling it and they felt like they were attacking her and it didn't work. So now they're still pushing for the ouster. They still want to do it. And the House Speaker says that if they remove her, then they have nuclear options like taking over our school board and taking over our school system, which they can easily do because they have the votes to do it. Like they don't need like us, like necessarily the Democrats, like they don't need their votes. So it could be very easily taken over.
So tell me about this lady. Then we talked about Marie Fagan. What is it? Fagan?
Marie Fagan. She's the new superintendent. She's only been there like less than a year. And the school board, a lot of them don't like her. And I can understand why they don't like her. She ain't the nicest person. She's kind of mean. And she did come in and completely change our school system. So she fired a lot of the top heavy positions that weren't needed because like most big school systems, like in Atlanta and other places, there's a lot of nepotism and a lot of people working at the school board in these positions that, you know, there are multiple of, like you got 3 people doing like one grant. It's not necessary. Or you got 6 people employed in the Office of Innovation and Efficiency, but they're not doing anything. So she fired a lot of them and told them that, you know, we have a teacher shortage. You have a teacher's license. You can take your license and go teach at this school, but we would no longer have this position. And that really ruffled a lot of feathers because, you know, they don't want to do that. Apparently, you know, if you're in the corporate office, you don't obviously want to be a teacher. So that pissed a lot of people off. And they pushed for this ouster. Our school board did not have the votes. And I highly recommend people stop doing stuff when they don't have the votes. They put together this weak resolution about her not signing off on a grant in time and there being a check for like $4,000 that someone got that she signed off on, even though the school board chair also signed the check. But the check was never cashed and it was canceled. So apparently she's not supposed to approve more than a certain amount, and she did. I mean, to me, it's not a big deal if they never actually got the money. The check was canceled. It was over. Now they're still pushing for an ouster, and she's put out a statement that said that she was not going to resign. And one thing I think that our school board is now realizing, but didn't realize at first, is that they're completely losing in the PR game. She's a PR genius. Like she has such good press, it's making it very hard for them to remove her. She literally doing radio interviews. She said, I was blessed with the privilege of pressure in this position. It's insane. Like she has such good, she's able to sell herself very well. Like she's making it seem like this position, you know, she's just so dedicated to it. That video of her saying, I was blessed with the privilege of pressure to be in this position is going viral right now because she's good at press and PR. Then the next day after they tried to remove her, Glorilla came and gave $25,000 to her high school, and she's in all these videos dancing with Glorilla. Her press is impeccable. So it's going to make it very hard to remove her. And in the meantime, if they remove her, our state government has said, we're going to come and take over your school district. and specifically that they like the superintendent and that this is the lowest performing school district and that we can't have the audacity to remove her because we don't even have enough going for us to do something like that.
Plus, it's gonna cost them $487,000 to remove her. They got to pay her severance.
It's gonna cost close to $1 million, and she said that she's gonna sue them. And the previous superintendent who resigned because he had a sexual affair with half of the staff in the upper office is still being paid by them right now because of the contract that he had. So we're still paying him, and they be paying that lady. It's too much. Mm-hmm. And I know stuff like this happens in other people's school districts, especially Atlanta.
Atlanta's not a real place, so
it's not a real place. Neither is Memphis. Yeah, Eric, half the staff. So apparently, reportedly, they opened an investigation and found that he had alleged affairs with about 3 or 4 staff members, and so then he resigned. So the report was never actually released, other than like the snippets that we saw from the news and stuff. But it was never released because he resigned. So if he had not resigned, then they would have publicly put the report out. It was very bad. I feel like Memphis, very similar to like your bigger cities, like your Atlantas, your Baltimores, all of that, really suffer from nepotism in the way that they keep putting these people in positions who don't actually qualify for any of them. And then it ends up with like our school system sucks because no one knows how to do their job. And also they're all sleeping with each other. Allegedly.
Memphis, Tennessee. That's how y'all popping. That's how y'all rocking.
It's bad.
But at least y'all got.
We're just gonna end up paying a whole bunch of money if they remove that lady.
At least y'all got the varsity plan. So the school that they're supposed to build, like 30.
The varsity plan is in Nashville.
Y'all ain't got it up there. Oh, my bad. Well,
so the varsity plan is in Nashville. We have the Moral Budget in Memphis. So both similar, just different names. But both won $1 million. And I know Denzel said he's gonna come up here and talk about it too.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that next week.
What's the next story that Erica has?
Who's that?
What's the next story that Erica has?
Man, there was so much. So they have she got some Trump stuff, Costco, homelessness. Oh, well, 50 cents.
Wait, what happened, Zinzi Bell? The New York State Senate, a couple senators were sleeping with each other in an open secret. Ooh. I will say, as someone who is like 1 foot in politics, 1 foot out, I do see a lot of crazy things, and most of them people allegedly are sleeping with each other, but allegedly.
Nah, so there's a story about 50 cents. I got froze.
No, you good.
Oh, well, it looks like I'm froze.
It's because you want to move your hand from in front of your mouth.
No, my screen thing is going crazy. All right, hopefully that. I don't know. So I'm trying to pull this 50 cents article up, but it's not doing it. Maybe I should
agree.
That.
Denzel said he's down to come on and talk about it, so he'll probably come on next Friday because we were supposed to be on the previous Friday, but we were on break then. So definitely gonna get him on to talk about the Office of Youth Safety and the varsity spending plan. And similar to what they're doing in Nashville, we're also going to be doing a participatory budgeting process this year. That's more like hands-on here in Memphis, so I'm excited about that too.
Yeah, I'm not about to go to the 50 cent thing is like acting weird, but supposedly he been trying to buy some property in Louisiana, and there's what is it?
Oh, where he's trying to do that movie studio thing.
Yeah, I guess he's trying to be like Tyler Perry or something.
He want to be like Tyler Perry so bad. I mean, he said something like that in an interview one time too, that he feels like he doesn't have to be the only one that owns a studio. I don't really follow 50 Cent no more because he's stupid. And he always doing stuff because he feels like he has to one-up somebody. And he needs to talk to a therapist about that instead of constantly trying to buy his way out of different things.
Let me see if I can.
They saying in the chat that we already covered it and that you behind and that you don't watch the show, so you don't know.
I sure don't, but they also didn't strike it off the
list.
Yeah, but thanks for that. I don't want to do that. it has been talked about remix. All right, well, I don't have much else. We're gonna end early.
I do.
What you got?
So there is a supercomputer project here in Memphis, the XAI supercomputer, and there's been several organizing groups specifically around environmental justice. We have a group here called Memphis Community Against Pollution, which was the group that Justin Pearson and his brother Keyshawn started to push back against the pipeline that was trying to be built here. And they've been pushing back pretty hard around the XAI project. And this week during the city council meeting, the MLGW COO, whoever the president of MLGW, which is our Memphis Light Gas and Water, which is our like utility company, he did a presentation because so many folks have been saying like, hey, we can't sustain this project, like that's not realistic. And so he did a like presentation saying, hey, we actually don't have the ability to sustain this project or any kind of expansion. We don't have the water or the electricity power, and that they would have to develop, more transformers and all these other things that the XAI people have to pay for because our actual power grid can't handle it. And that was the first time that he's actually come out and said something. They've been pressuring like different political folks here and like the different city council members to say something about how this like isn't doable. Like we can't, our grid can't handle this, and no one has been willing to say something. And now after the city council asked him to come and do a presentation on it, now he's saying it. And I really think it's annoying how they have to do that. Like we have to request you to come and give a presentation on something before you'll just say the truth, which is that our power grid cannot handle this supercomputer project and y'all need to take it away.
AI requires more electricity to complete even simple tasks compared to typical search queries. In the US, about 60% of that electricity comes from burning fossil fuels, which is the primary driver for climate change. Oh, so this actually I do have something that, so I've been looking into some of my work back in the days when I was in Eastern Kentucky. Some of my actually first experience of seriously organizing. But one of the things that I think I told a story about having a conversation with Bill Clinton after a talk he gave trying to convince us to vote for his wife. But one of the things he was trying to say was because China burn this much coal, he's in a coal burning race, right? Because so in Eastern Kentucky, not only are mines like one of the biggest drivers for extracting minerals to burn to get energy, but that includes sludge ponds in your yard, the mineral under your house you don't own, so they can extract that. Fly rock. There's one kid that got killed because a boulder came and crashed into his bedroom, and so the cost of this energy thing is normally something that again people don't factor in.
They don't factor in.
You got whole communities get black lung. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I specifically have said the reason why Elon was trying to build the XAI thing here is because Memphis has an aquifer, so our water is the best water in the world. We have like the most breweries of any city in the US because of the water. So he's coming for that water, but also saying they're not going to use the water, that they're going to have their own resources, which is not true. They're not going to do that. And someone was talking about how this is related to data centers in the chat, and it's very true. I was really trying to connect over the last 2 days how the fires that are happening in California are very connected to the data centers that they have there and all across the country, because the way that we're really inducing the climate crisis with all these supercomputers and data centers is like ruining our water supply. And they're already in a drought in California. But you know what's not in a drought? The supercomputers and the data centers they have there. They're getting water, but the rest of the state is in a drought. They're all suffering. And it's because people are selfish. Like capitalism is capitalizing, whatever people say. But yeah, it's all connected. It's mainly what I was saying is that like the climate crisis is connected to how we're, overusing resources, how we're hoarding water, the things that we're using it on, which like keep telling people to stop using ChatGPT because one, you're killing your brain. Like no one's gonna be able to think critically because we're always asking ChatGPT to do stuff. And two, it's horrible for the environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the when we was in Colombia, we was talking about like stop burning coal or whatever, and one of the leaders there was like, well, we're not going to start mining it because y'all not going to stop using it. So the reason why China burns so much, it's not that they overspend, it's like they have much more people, so that number will be different. But us trying to compete with them, we're normally the ones who burn the most or use the most. And I guess people are arguing about more sustainable ways. Obviously, there's no such thing as clean coal and all the other shit that people was talking about. But not
somebody said that this is a Memphis Politics Day, and I will just say that everything that happens in Memphis is connected to other things, because the same stuff that's happening here with XAI is happening in Virginia with the data centers that are happening there. And I think if we watch closely, the way that the climate crisis is gonna cause issues there is mainly going to be caused from those data centers that they have, and is why they've been pushing back having data centers here in Tennessee, because they tried to propose one in like a small town here, and they like put together a whole petition to refuse the permit to allow it to happen, and they didn't build it. Mm-hmm. Same thing is happening with the XAI thing here, because what happens here in Memphis affects their whole water supply of the entire Mid-South. Memphis is at the bottom of Tennessee. Mississippi uses our water supply. People in Arkansas use our water supply. People in Alabama use our water supply. And the TVA powers all of Tennessee and part of Georgia, part of Kentucky, North Carolina. Like, they power so much. And so we're putting a lot of strain on the TVA as well for electricity. Is going to hinder everything that's happening here. Meanwhile, our grid is struggling right now because it's literally almost 7 inches of snow outside. So everybody's at home with heaters on and like using all their power, and the power might go out today or tomorrow because of that. So it's all connected.
So they don't want to hear about your Memphis joint? That's what they're trying to say.
Oh, I was just pointing out how they're all connected. I mean, I don't really care. They're going to have to hear about it.
I couldn't.
That's where most of my political knowledge comes from, because that's most of what I'm doing. I mean, I do a lot of national stuff too, but most of that is like just Black-centered education stuff.
What other, like, is there mines there? Do y'all have? I don't think
there are mines in like the Appalachia, where those people live who always sleeping with each other.
No, don't do that, because I that's why I went to college in Appalachia.
I just want to say I did not know that was true. I didn't know that was actually happening until someone that most of the families are like
insects.
They procreating with each other.
But listen, most of the families how do you don't do that? Because again, you talking about that you and all these alleged. But anyway, so the reason
I went to college in Northwest Tennessee, so a lot
of course it happens.
It went to school where I went to school, and they talked about how a lot of their family members, were cousins.
Well, listen, that happens at a lot of places, but I wouldn't say most of the people. But so I asked that because in Eastern Kentucky and West Virginia area, West Virginia, like the western part of Virginia, coal mining is so serious. It reminds me of the military, right? So like there are people, like the phrase "coal keeps the light on." Like those people used to stand by, like my great granddaddy worked in the mines or whatever. Now, but there also been some really good resistance in the mines. Like, have you ever heard of there's a documentary called Bloody Harlan, but in Harlan County, like the worker struggle with the coal operators was as they said, bloody. So I was wondering if there's a lot of energy producing I guess corporations there or anything like that.
There are a lot of energy producing corporations here, but most of it, like our biggest one is the TVA, of course. And the TVA has been pushing like for more coal mining. So we actually, at my job, we're working with SACE, Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, against some more coal mining production. And then the TVA wants to expand like the energies they were using into more carcinogens. And they have been explaining to them, like, hey, you can do these clean energy options. You don't have to do more coal and carcinogens. And these other power companies aren't using these either. They're saying, like, hey, we can power with these things that won't pollute the air as much. but the TVA was just pushing back. They didn't want to do it. And so they had this whole campaign with trying to get Biden to appoint someone different, because there were 2 appointees open for TVA and the president appoints them, trying to get him to appoint those 2 people and finalize them before he gets out of office because of this very specific thing. People are talking about how they have these in Southern Ohio and East Palestine too, which is also very true. We have mines here. So we have mines in Appalachia. We have them in East Tennessee, like near Johnson City. So I'm at the very bottom of Tennessee and Memphis, going up and across. They have lots of mines and stuff too. And I went to school in Northwest Tennessee, so at the very top of Tennessee almost. And there's a lot of people who are from like those mining families. And that's exactly how they act. Like, you know, how dare you push back against coal? Like this is why you have a place to live, and this is why your lights work. Like they're very, very big on that.
Yeah, Johnson.
Yeah, Tennesseeville, there has always been mines here.
Yeah, Johnson City, Tennessee is actually where we used to go party at. So in Eastern Kentucky is there's none of us there other than the athletes. So we used to drive all the way to Johnson City, Tennessee to go
That's
party.
Wild. Humble one said something I want to bring up too. They said cities like Memphis are where they try these bad policies because people don't pay attention to them. That's definitely true. That's been happening here. I would say that had been happening here for the last like 5 years or so, until recently, when we really started pushing more organizing against like the bail system here, where we almost sued the county and then they had to change their bail practices. And then you had the pipeline they tried to build through South Memphis, which is like one of the poorest communities in Memphis. And that's when Justin Pearson worked with a lot of state representatives here to push back against that pipeline and actually push for like local legislation to prevent those kind of things from being built here. But if they were able to build that pipeline, they would have built them all throughout Tennessee. It would have been way longer than it was. But because they were able to defeat that, I think that was a key reason why we don't see as many pipelines being pushed here. And now with the XAI thing, it's a whole push around the data centers, right? Like if I can get a supercomputer here, I could probably get a data center here too. Like it's all a step up to see what they can actually get, which is why pushing back against them is so important. And the campaigns we have against them is so important, because if you stop that supercomputer, you'll stop that data center, you'll stop the way that's going to deplete our water sources. Like I'm very worried about our water, because our aquifer powers so many areas around us and the city of Memphis, and it's the best water. Like people have said that for years. Like we have literally the best water of any city in the US because of our aquifer.
Yeah, so Zenzi says, then you have people like Joe Munchkin in West Virginia, pushing coal industry while not helping coal miners or their families at all. So not only him, but so when I was there in Eastern Kentucky, Mitch McConnell and there's Hal Rogers was a local person. Those people literally they could be from those areas, and they will vote on policies that's literally killing their family members.
They don't care.
And so this is back in 2008. This is actually when I graduated college. We went to the La Guajira region in Colombia, because there was more African, Colombian, and indigenous people that was living there, and the mines were owned by people like Gary Drummond in Alabama. And the difference between Eastern Kentucky and here is like sometimes in Eastern Kentucky you can get a job in the mines, right? But obviously, you know, people develop black lung and those other things. But in the La Guajira region, the Afro-Colombians literally were at times kidnapped, dropped off in other parts of the country. Gary Drummond and other people report back to the UN that humans don't even live on the land. It's uninhabitable. But both you and I know that's not true, because the people who live there, they look like us. They gave me this bag, this mochila, and I think one of the things again that I was talking about in terms of and we was talking about patriotic like black patriotism with Beyonce, but the way that the coal industry, although there are people who against it as well, but the way that they ran is like literally just as important as the military. It's almost like conquesting of land, and you know, working the land or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like a interesting connection to.
I didn't know my Memphis accent was that thick because somebody said they thought I was saying the Bell system, but I'm saying Bell, like Bail. Yeah, I'm talking about the Bell system.
The Bell. I mean, I said Bell.
I don't think it's that thick, but it might be. Shit. Who knows?
I say bear instead of beer. I was like, I need a bear, and they'd be like, bear.
That's funny.
Like beer.
Someone also talked about how Tennessee lawmakers were talking about banning chemtrails. So there was an actual bill last session about this. You know, I find it so interesting when they propose stuff and we have to tell them that those aren't real things and you're just really fucking stupid. Because there was also a bill to ban people receiving vaccines from produce because they said they were sneaking the vaccines into the lettuce in the grocery store. And so they need to put stickers on the produce that says this has not been contaminated with a vaccine. And it passed because these people are stupid. And also a reminder that most of Tennessee is rural. So most of them are white and dumb. So we have bills like this that pop up. The chemtrails bill passed. It's thick for real. Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
What your accent?
They said my accent's thick. I don't hear it.
Accent thick? Yeah, of course. Everybody's accent thick, though. I mean, who does? Who?
I'm gonna go back and listen to this and say I sound like a bell
Who don't have accents?
People tell me all the time that I don't have an accent, and I don't hear it. So I'd be like, I don't know, but I think I sound Southern.
It's not possible to not have an accent. What's the best accent? What state got the best? Or city got the best?
Honestly, I prefer
other than Memphis. Don't call Memphis.
No, I prefer African, Ghanaian, or like Cameroonian accents. Like Cameroonians speak French. I like that. Or the black UK niggas.
There's no way that Zenzabel thinks that she doesn't have an accent.
I just want a little dark skin in it.
So New York.
Really?
So New York. She came on a couple times. She's so New York.
You know, they be calling the black UK guys in it.
New Orleans, Senegalese. She said Senegalese men are her downfall.
I can believe that. I have dated a Senegalese man, and I was not gonna be he's not gonna be my downfall. I was fine, but he was fine, and I do see how they trap people.
Baltimore definitely got probably the top 3 accents.
They do have a strong accent.
Yeah, they're pretty.
But I prefer from an African country, but not North Africa. I think we should talk about how North Africans definitely think that they're European and the way they treat darker skinned people. Because the experience that I had in Casablanca in the Moroccan airport was crazy to me. Like, and I noticed it with other like darker skinned people there too. Like I think it was a girl who was Nigerian. They were just mean. Like I paid for business class tickets so I could have a little lay down bed thing. By the way, y'all, if you want a good flight, use the Airfordable app to pay for the flight in payments because I'm not rich. I paid in payments over time. So I booked a business class flight and you get to go in this little lounge. They were not nice. Like, and I think it's because they very much feel that they are superior than us.
Who?
The Moroccan people, the people from Casablanca. They definitely think that they're superior. Like they looked at me like, I'm a white man. Why are you talking to me?
Oh.
I was like, hey, is there a restroom near here? And he looked at me like I was the scum of the earth. And I was like, my bad. Yeah, it was bad. And the way that they even like act is very like elitist. And I didn't like that. I was like,
It was white Africans.
Yeah, I mean, they from Africa, they in Morocco and Egypt and shit, but they don't think that they're African. I think it's very clear that they don't believe that they're African. I mean, I worked with a guy from Egypt one time and I asked him like, hey, because he lived in New Jersey. I was like, when you filling out applications, do you mark black or white? Because I know that race is only a thing here in the US. It's not a thing other places. Like mostly, they just put their ethnicity. He was like, oh, I mark white because that's what I, see myself as. Like he said, he feels like he's more near like the European because he's from Egypt. And so he's around a lot of, brighter skinned people. And he just doesn't feel like he's black. He doesn't feel like he's African. Like he was like, I feel like I'm Egyptian. Like if someone asks me, I'm Egyptian. Like I don't say I'm African. And I was like, That's how a lot of them act.
Not African. Anything else? We ending early. We got. I think Air Doctor gave us a mix to end, or maybe it's an old mix because I don't watch the show. But I'm
very true. All Africans aren't black. I think that's also a thing too. Someone was saying in the chat, all Africans aren't black. I agree.
What are they?
They don't think they black. They don't even identify with race. Like they identify with their ethnicity.
I don't know. Y'all be
no. I was saying, to clarify, I was saying that I was encountering a lot of people from Morocco because I was in Casablanca in the airport. But I also knew someone who was Egyptian who explained to me how most people where they live view themselves as Egyptian. They don't view themselves as black. And if they were to mark something on an application, he says he marks white because that's what he feels more close to. And I said, if you don't think that you're black, then yeah, I agree. You're not African. Like that doesn't make any sense to me to be like, I'm not. This is the ethnicity I believe in. You literally are in Egypt, which is a country in Africa.
I mean, maybe they, I don't know. South Africans have the same argument, though, right?
I agree, Elon. We do need a session on revolutionary Pan-Africanism because I'm always open to learning more. And I always think that it's interesting how people view ethnicity versus race.
What you think the difference is?
I think it depends on where you are. Because, I mean, race was invented here. It's not used other places. And the way that we use race is different. To me, the way that I use race is different from how people use ethnicity because I don't want to say African American. That's not how I feel. Like I feel African. And so if someone asks me, I'm going to say black. And that's what I roll with. I'm not going to, be like, oh, I'm African American because I don't feel American and I don't like resonate with like patriotism in general. Which I thought was interesting when you were talking about black patriotism earlier because I don't know how I feel about that either, but I definitely don't have any like type of patriotism to the U.S. like at all.
I mean, I think it's just like there weird things in the American project. I think people have been forced to believe in the American project, and so black patriotism is a more militant way to close your proximity to whiteness, maybe. So
maybe. I do agree with what Chi-Town said about how patriotism feels very cultish. It does feel very cultish to me because I mean, when you look at your Christian nationalists or evangelicals, they love an American flag and talk about how Christian they are. Ain't nothing Christian about them, and it's very much feeling cultish. Even like some of these like musicians that are popping up lately, like your Christian contemporary musicians look very much like a racist cop from a rural town. And I was like, even the way they have shifted Christian nationalism into the music space, it's the look still follows, the feel of like, I would say like a rugged, racist undertone is there in the music. Like all of it aligns.
Yeah, you said this, and I kind of was like, I don't know. But Elon said race wasn't invented here, but developed with the colonization of Americas and extended back to Europe and the continent. Race is used on African continent through ethnic and national borders.
Yeah. And ethnic and national borders mean like Morocco, Egypt.
Which was kind of drawn up by those same people.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. I could see that too. And I do think that we should talk more about like what revolutionary Pan-Africanism looks like because I mean, between the people that I've encountered, even in Ghana, I felt like they were Americanized in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Ghana, we had a sister who she kind of been in and out of our study group over the years. In fact, when I went to college in Pikeville, Kentucky, she went to
you went to school in Pikeville?
Yeah.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah. I told you the
Appalachia. You played sports for real.
Yeah. But this sister went to University of Virginia Wise, right? Like not too close. But she literally told me, I think a month ago, and I think she told me this before, but I just not remember. But she was from Ghana. She moved here, and apparently she lived in in Russia for a little bit. But she said she found out about Kwame Nkrumah as a Ghanaian in DC from a street vendor one day, like in her adult life. So imagine being from Ghana, being an African woman, and don't know anything about Kwame Nkrumah. So I said that to say, like,
even when we were there at the museum, there were Ghanaians who were coming to the museum for the first time.
That's what I'm saying. But the Ghana that you're gonna experience now and it lasts so long is not the same Ghana that Kwame Nkrumah was attempting to build and got
it's definitely not.
So,
and you can see that when you're there. Like I was like, I really worry about the amount of Americans who are moving here, because you can see the impact. I could see it when I was there, and when I met some people who had moved there, they moved to Cape Coast, so they weren't in Accra, and you do notice a difference. Like I felt like Cape Coast still very much had like the local feel. It didn't feel very Americanized in some ways, or like taken over or exploited. And I could see how in Accra there were certain places that felt exploited to me. That made me uncomfortable, and I was like, we doing a number on these people, and that's not cool. And also, they're very welcoming. Like they were extremely kind in general. Like they're just nice people, and that also bothered me because like when you're nice like that, you playing the game or you gonna get rolled over. Like they could have just been playing the game, to make sure they are getting business as they need it, or they very much could just be getting rolled over and not realize it, and that makes me uncomfortable too.
Man, I remember Dr. Arikana Shambo. She had, at this one point, she was talking about leading some content or some people back to Africa. And I think there was naming a city in Ghana or area in Ghana, the Wakanda city or something. And I was like, man.
What?
She was connected with, what's the lady who Sacred Womb or Sacred, what's her name?
I don't know.
Sacred Woman. That purple book that been floating around for you ain't never read that?
No.
You don't be reading the Woke Sisters book? What's that thing?
I don't believe in a lot of that stuff. I'm like I don't go that far with stuff.
Yeah, but Queen Afua, there we go. Damn it. Yeah, she was on a call with Queen Afua. I was like, man, I got to go. Queen, yeah. And so I was like, they was about to I've been to, Ghana is on that type of temperature, but that was like, yeah, they stay for sale. It's a wrap.
They are, and like I know people who have bought land there, and I was like, well, what for? You don't live there. Like you're not gonna live there. You live here full time. What's your point of buying land there unless you're actually moving there?
You know why?
I know why, but it's just still fucked up. Like I was like, bro, your ethics and morals is just screwed. Like y'all don't be and swear y'all are just so, pro-black and pan-Africans and believe in all these things, but you don't for real, because like your actual like practices, what you spend your money on does not show that. Somebody else said in here that their Ghanaian brother-in-law didn't know about Kwame Nkrumah. And I will say when we were there at the museum, a lot of Ghanaians were coming for the first time. A lot of them did not know. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he was president a very long time ago. And they all don't go to school. So they all aren't learning the history because they all like don't have the money to pay for school or the books or whatever. The same way someone was saying like people who don't know about the Black Panther Party here. I always be like, throw it off when people are introducing like an intro into the Black Panther Party or like Black History. Like people don't know this already, but a lot of people do not know it. And I realized that when I was there, like a lot of the museums we went to, the Ghanaians were coming for the first time. Like they had not been there before because they lived in other parts of Ghana. Even the safari reserve that we went to, there were like children in school who were coming for the first time. They were like in middle school and it was their first time, coming there because yeah, like Leah said, everyday Ghanaians are poor. Yeah, they are. Like they don't be going to stuff like that. So I'm never surprised now that they don't know about certain things because they aren't able to come to the museum or they don't have the books or the resources. And that was one thing that I was most bothered by. There was a lady we met in Cape Coast who moved there and she like runs a nonprofit in the US around getting books. And she's been building libraries in Cape Coast and other places and helping like to educate their teachers to learn more skills to teach the students, which I thought was cool. Like, that's a great idea, but like, don't do something that's exploitive. And I haven't seen people in Memphis specifically who have bought land there do stuff that wasn't. Like what they're doing is very exploitive.
Man, that's how these brothers run. They have this book called "You Deserve to Be Rich," and
Lord Jesus,
they are definitely
all right
getting shit.
Yeah. The moment
supposedly
has come.
And even this part,
Mansour Musa, everybody's familiar with Mansour Musa, but Abukari II had sent 2,000 ships over to America before
something being successful in your native land. And
but yeah, so there at the Invest Fest, they was talking about selling, and Erica talked about it before on their show, and might even brought it up. But they've been selling like real estate and in Ghana at the Invest Fest, so people can invest $5,000 to $10,000 to buy houses. And
I'm also still shocked that you went to the Invest Fest shit.
Listen, they sent me in there, and yeah, it was interesting.
Somebody, in the chat, I think it's Zizwi, said the Ghanaians don't know about the founder of the nation/state of Ghana because of the neo-colonial governments after the overthrow of Ghana and global imperialism, and they use colonial education. That's very true. That's something I also learned about when I was there. So I was like, it makes sense they don't know about this because they literally weren't taught. And it wasn't until recently when they even got the Kwame Nkrumah Museum. And then someone also asked, have I seen what the schools are like in Ghana? I did. I went to a few of them. Like we were walking, I was like doing regular stuff. Like we went on tours and stuff, but I also was just kind of walking around, just having an experience in Ghana in general. And I walked into a few schools and like saw what they were like. So I definitely understand that too. Like they don't have the same resources. And also what they're teaching them wasn't the real history of what they should be learning.
I mean, I don't know. You just gotta imagine the type of mind control you would have to be a Ghanaian and know nothing, like nothing, remotely nothing of Kwame Nkrumah that's pretty scary. But
even the people we were on the trip with, like, knew nothing about like African history in general. Like I knew a lot. Like there were museums we were going to, and I knew exactly who the person was. And the guy was talking about them, and I would literally know the words he was going to say about the person, like because I have like paid attention to this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad they went on that trip because they talked about how much they learned and like are going to do follow up. So I sent like a whole book recommendation list of stuff, they can read and like really encourage them to dig deeper and like develop a deeper study around it because this was like a life-changing trip for a lot of us, and we learned so much. But like, what do you do after that? Like, are you going to go back to doing the same exact thing you were doing, or are you going to change a lot of your habits and like the ways that you think about stuff?
Maybe. Did you go to Du Bois Library?
No, I didn't go to the Bois Library. We went to the Kwame Nkrumah Museum, Independence Square, the Black Star Gate, Cape Castle, the Slave Market, the library. I went to the public library in Ghana. It's really beautiful. It's like just now developing kind of, but it was really beautiful. I went to the market and like got to like see how they like do things, and I actually really love their market, and I wish we had more like it here, but they don't have like flea markets and stuff like that here anymore. And then I got to like go to some of the like local, I went to one of the oldest churches or something, but it was during the day. There was no service. I just wanted to see what it looked like. Like I like the infrastructure, like architecture and stuff in general, so I got to see some of that stuff. I went to a lot of local restaurants, a lot of local like art galleries. I went to a few of those because some of the people in our group actually bought like art and paintings. I bought a painting, not like nothing big or nothing, just like like something simple, just so I could like have some African art in my house. And it wasn't super expensive either, which I thought was good. Like I do hate that their dollar is like the currency is so weak compared to us. But like it worked in my favor, and I was able to buy like a lot of cool art and stuff to bring back. But I agree, like I hated how like most of that country is very poor, and like I don't see much being done to stabilize that. And I don't have the most hope in their new president either. So I'm interested to see what happens there because there's actually people here in Memphis who like are contracted with their government to help them with some economic development. We'll see what that looks like. I don't know what that's gonna look like.
Financial literacy. What else? That's why Steve Harvey and John Hope Ryan and Earn Your Leisure, that's why they can go down there, because they're gonna be working with the government to blame poor people for being poor.
Yeah, the dollar. So Leah put it in the chat, but the dollar right now, the conversion rate is $1 here is $14.90. It was like going up and down while I was there. I was actually checking the conversion rate every day. And
it's Naira.
Cedis, $14.90 in Cedis. So like $1 here was almost $15 there. So I was just buying up all kinds of shit. And I bought like gifts and stuff for my friends who don't have passports, probably will never go to Africa, or like won't go anytime soon. And I want to bring them something back because I know what that's like. Like I had to save up a lot of money and like fundraise to go myself. It's not super cheap.
And you chose Ghana because of that Instagram salesman?
No, I chose Ghana because I wanted to go to Dead of December, and I want to go to like a lot of the museums and stuff that were there. The Kimoy guy, some other people in our group chose it because of him. I didn't choose it because of that. Like this wasn't a vacation for me. It was more of like a respite trip. Like I really want to go to the motherland and like experience what that's like. And I like history. Like I've always been into history, so I want to go to different museums and stuff. But no, I didn't choose it because of him. Initially I wanted to go to Guinea-Bissau, but they literally only speak Portuguese in Guinea-Bissau, and there isn't. When I was looking up ways to get there and like stuff to do, it was going to be kind of hard without a translator with me 24/7 because I don't speak Portuguese. And at least in Ghana, they speak, English or like pretty close to it. And so I'll understand them. And then later on, I want to plan a trip to Guinea-Bissau.
Nice. Me hustling. So what you got up for this weekend? What you got going on?
It's snowing outside, so I'll be inside.
The whole time?
I mean, I'm gonna go out and play in the snow with my dog, but that's about it. I'm also working on a commissioned article for the MLK 50 newspaper here about the inauguration in MLK weekend, like kind of a reflective type of piece, something. So I'm gonna be editing what I already wrote, and adding some more to it probably, and then just chilling inside.
What you say? Get you where you go? The city. What? Oh, I'm in the streets. The city ain't shut down.
Now he finna go outside.
There's supposed to be this event. So listen, man, there's this event where there's a brother who makes non-alcoholic mocktails, 0 proof. He got.
Non-alcoholic usually means mocktail.
Well, okay. I'm saying non-alcoholic or mocktails, however you call it, 0 proof. I've said all 3 of them. But he has like a social event that I'm going to. That's what I'm gonna be.
Interesting. He gonna still have it in the snow?
I hope so. He better get my money back.
Bonnie said in the chat that they told us to haggle very aggressively. They told us the same thing. So like they told us to like, if whatever price they give you, divide that in 3. I didn't do that because I just felt like a lot of stuff I was buying was handmade, like beaded, or like I bought some bracelets made out of gold coins that someone like beat and like put together. So I didn't feel like I should like lowball them. That made me uncomfortable too. Like a lot of people were going real low and some of the like handmade stuff. Now, if it was like a bag or like, a t-shirt, okay. But like if someone beaded something, I wasn't gonna like, say, give me this for $5. Like that, to me, that's not fair.
Listen, first of all, I ain't about to promote these people too much, but this person right here, I don't know what you're talking about. Mocktails, I'm telling you, listen, some of these things have literally the same type of vibe for the whatever herb, and then obviously you can get your, THC drinks too. But they got mock tequila, rum, wine, or whatever, and I actually think it's going to turn into a movement where people going to start drinking poison.
Just drink some juice.
I mean that too, but the flavors. I mean, like again, I don't think it's a waste of time. I don't think you have to drink a lot of poison all the time, but some of the herbs, whether it's relaxant, ashwagandha, different other tinctures in it. I mean, it's gonna give you the same type of effect as opposed.
Yeah, I mean, I make tinctures, so I know that, but also you don't have to put that in juice or other mocktails. You literally can put it in some water. I do it all the time. Like I feel like also taking in all that sugar and stuff isn't the best. I'm concerned about that. Like I don't want to take in a lot of sugar. Somebody else, Chi-Town said in the chat that he felt the same way about the labor, and like he didn't want to lowball people because like our labor isn't valued here, and that's exactly why. Like I feel like our labor isn't valued here, and it wasn't being valued by them, and I don't want to lowball them. Like if you I bought a beaded bracelet that's like this thick all the way around. Like I wasn't gonna lowball that person. He was using a little needle to put together beads for days. Like that should be, valued.
Mm-mm. See, listen, I'm gonna show y'all this. Wait, does it have the whole brand?
I agree with Brittany that your event is going to be canceled or postponed and rescheduled.
Who, Brittany said that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think they need to postpone. I think we need to play in the snow. It's not that far. It's right up the road.
Now we need to play in the snow. People in Atlanta can't drive.
Anyway, look at this. So they got all the different mocktail bears. You have whiskey alternatives. This joint here is good. Euphorics. They have a bunch of different type of stuff. Get you.
Christy in the chat said, "Do I know somewhere you can send money to a school or a program?" Hey, can you drop your email and I'm gonna find the email of the lady who sent me some stuff about places you could donate to, and I can email it to you because it's gonna take me like a day to find what the lady sent me. I might have to text her and have her send it to me again.
That's it, man. Anyway,
but yeah, if you drop your email in here, I'll find it and send it to you. And I agree with what Monty was saying. Like the value of the city has changed a lot, like over time, and a lot of that is like proof of like the economic collapse that we're seeing. Like, yeah, I wasn't feeling that when I was there. I was like, you can definitely see the impact that it's had on them.
Also coming up next week, Wednesday, Dare to Struggle, Dare to Win, CMB's podcast will be reflaming. So on Wednesday,
y'all got a podcast. They be letting y'all do anything.
What you mean? We already had a podcast.
Y'all got a podcast. Y'all done got a farm. Y'all done got a YouTube show. I mean, just everything. I mean, we're so excited about it.
Nah, like me. So me and Yusuf, our Detroit chapter, will be hosting, and Wednesday we'll be interviewing Kamal. So what? Pretty much the show will have topics.
He gonna show up?
He ain't got no choice. But the show is going to be current event topics, news stories. We'll also be interviewing authors from the Grassroots Thinking and other people who produce great stuff. But each week we'll highlight one of the chapters and some of the work that they're doing. So on Wednesday at 6:30, make sure y'all come through and holler at the people.
Okay, so Monty said in the chat, was asking about the Continental Market burning down, and I got some tea on that because while I was there, I met Ghanaian that's in the fire service, which also was interesting to me that they have it's a whole separate service. It's not like just a firefighter, but like it's like public service too, but whatever. He said, well, there was speculation that the space was going to be sold to some Chinese, but the local traders didn't agree to vacate the place, so they set the place on fire, allegedly. And he said, but normally because traders want to make claims and form insurance companies, they do that to make it look like a fire. But officially, the Ghana National Fire Service said that the cause is under investigation. And that's what he said because he works for the Ghana National Fire Service. So that's the tea that he told me. And so I was like, that's crazy.
Who told you this now?
It's this guy who is in the fire service that was trying to get with me, and I wouldn't give him my phone number.
Oh, so he a credible source. He shoot his jumper, but he
does work for the fire service now. I seen him in his uniform. He does actually work there.
You seen him in a uniform? You seen him at work?
I see him at work. Like he's video chatting me like on Instagram because he will not stop blowing me up. He's video chatting me when he was at work in his little fire uniform. I also think it's weird that they make people in the public service, even who aren't in the military, like even in the fire service or the forestry commission, wear like military gear. Like they're all in military militia type clothes. Even the fire service, like they're wearing like these camo fits that are like a different color. I just think that's weird. Well, but yeah, that's the tea on that, Monty, and that's what they saying happened.
They saying you got a whole lot of they sayers.
Allegedly, I mean, y'all ain't finna get me caught up. So that's allegedly what the fire service people was saying, child.
She up there spreading conspiracies on Black Liberation Media. Look,
man,
I
just want to say I do really like a good conspiracy theory, and that we should do a whole episode on those.
Nah, I think there's enough conspiracies out there that's actual conspiracies than to like.
Oh no, Toby. So just to clarify, Toby, no, this person wasn't admitting to it. He was saying what the alleged reason for the fire is, which is that some Chinese people was trying to buy it, and the people who worked there didn't want them to get it. Thank you, Toby, because I be trying, because Geechee be judging. I'm trying to make sure y'all know the tea. What's really going on? Because one thing about me, I'm well connected and well respected, and I'm gonna find something out.
Wait, what I do?
Just they said that I'm gonna always hook them up with the pipe and hot tea, and you was like, I got a lot of allegedly.
No, you. That is some alleged. We're supposed to say allegedly. That's what they said. You got to say it because
I said allegedly. Now, I ain't tell y'all the person's name, so even though I can say that he definitely in the fire service, ain't pinning on him or me allegedly.
Spreading the tea. Anyway, we gonna crack it out here early. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Remix Morning Show. Air Dr. List. But I do think I'm gonna play an old in mix. I don't know if it's old or new, or if he just did it just now, but catch y'all later on. Check out all the shows that's coming out next. I don't know. I do know Saturdays with Renee is always coming. So tomorrow, make sure you tune in the Warrior Class.
And make sure that you're subscribing to the channel, that you like this video. Remind them that they need me because I'm funny. And we'll be back next Friday, most likely, with a producer. Because I heard somebody in the chat talking about how we needed a producer. And I just want to say it wasn't my fault.
We weren't prepared. Everybody show up for school and class and all that.
Well, I was prepared. I came with 3 stories locked in. So.
Well, you didn't share the stories with us, but hey.
I did share the stories.
Who?
We talked about
No, I'm talking about beforehand. Like you didn't.
Come out. No, that ain't my fault. Y'all light-skinned friend be doing y'all like that.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.
Staggering, the gathering, possessed by a pattern that be scattering. Over the global, my vocals be traveling, unraveling my abdomen and slime is babbling, grammatics that are masculine. I grab them in, verbally badgering broads. I wish them Madeline was back on video LP. I would against all odds, I gotta even Steven. Proceeded reading, I believe in everything I'm reading, but my brain was bleak, needing beat and exercise. I didn't seek the best of odds. This a lot of text and lies I analyze. Where I rest my eyes and chastise the best of guys with punchlines. I'm nasty when it's crunch time. But your mind like one time and poetry was pussy. I be sunshine, cause I deliver like the sunshine. Come find it once minds. I dumb rhymes, I combine. I'm hype like I'm unsigned. My diet, I unswine. Eating beef sometimes. I'm trying to cut back on that shit. This rap shit is truly out of control. My style is too developed to be arrested. It's the freestyle. So now it's out on parole. They tried to hold my soul in the hold itself, so I was sell. I bonded with a break and had enough to make bail. While misdemeanor fell on his knee for the jury. I asked over his ID and the judge not him.
Once again, welcome out, y'all. This is no other than the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Air Doctor. I'm here to rock it. So let's keep it moving right here, right now.
They got my back against the building. I'm the villain that's creeping around corners. Like shorty, if you see them creeping around corners, they might be coming through, gunning through, running through. So be careful what you do, get them slugs might come to you. As long as I can remember, the streets have kept me safe. And ever since the time of December, the heat's been in my waist. I need an extra set of eyes, so I keep my dog with me. Doctor said let him die, shit is and dog bit me. I don't know what's wrong with me, but it seems like since you heard of us, I turning the murderers. The murderers, if you still against me and want to see me in the box, grilling me all crazy. When you see me in the locks, leave you fed like fox. Nothing funny about that. I see you up in the coma. It ain't coming about that. You hold on for too long, it ain't pulling the plug on you. I'm gonna put that joint myself and dump another slug on you.
I rock rough and stuff with my Afro punks.
Rock on what your man say.
I rock rough and stuff with my Afro punks.
Rock on what your man say.
I rock on with my pants off cause it's a must. It's the lady of rage still kicking up dust. So So let me loosen up my bra strap and let me boost it with my raw rap. Cause I'ma break it down to the nitty gritty one time. When it comes to the lyrics, I get busy with mine. Busy as a beaver, you best believe her. This grand diva's running ish with the speed of a cheetah. Me the Liverpool murderer. I'm serving them like 2 scoops of chocolate. Check out how I rock it. I'm the one that's throwing bolos. You better roll to find out I'm the #1 solo. The capital R.A. Now kick it to the G.E. I bring the things to light, but you still can't see me. I flow like the monthly, you can't grant my style. For those that tried to punk me, here's a pamphlet child.
We out of here. Remix Morning Show. We be back tomorrow. Peace.